Well, as a sort of, shall we say, a representative of Britain's ethnic communities, what did the Queen mean to people like you?
Well, for me, I think that she was a remarkable woman. She remained very loyal to her traditional values, Kevin, but she also embraced significant forms of domestic and international change. She had a magnificent 7-decade reign where Britain was transformed as a country, if truth be told, Kevin. She spearheaded that process from Britain being a colonial power to a much respected member of the post national community, which is why I'm of the view that she was actually our finest ever diplomat, because that was a very tricky process and she led that process in a quite fantastic way. But her traditional values, her emphasis on faith and family, that resonated with many traditional and conservative-minded ethnic minorities. She frequently visited minority places of worship. So I think in her own way, she helped to cultivate an inclusive sense of belonging. We often talk about the royal family supposedly being traditional, overly traditional, exclusionary, outdated. But in a way, it was her reign which modern Britain was built upon.
I think it was extraordinary the way she transcended, shall we say, racial divides. So this country
Absolutely.
under her reign has become a massive melting pot. I believe this country, despite what all the lefties might say, is one of the least racist countries on the face of the earth. And I think that had a lot to do with the Queen. She united people, and I think ethnic communities here, many of whom, of course, probably like yourself, were born here. They're as British as I am, but, well, actually, probably more British than I am because I'm probably Irish, but you know what I mean. She united us all, didn't she? And so she wasn't just the queen of white English people. She was the queen of all of us, and I think ethnic communities respected that.
No, absolutely. She was an incredibly inclusive figurehead. And she was even after her passing. Just look at the queue, for example, for her lying in waiting. There's people from a variety of ethnic, racial and religious backgrounds who waited in that queue to pay their respects. And I think it really shows the value of having that ceremonial figurehead that diversity of people can band around. And quite frankly, I think that's something that's missing in the French Republic. We can see, Kevin, we have our own issues with social cohesion, and we've talked about that in the past. But in the French Republic, they have very serious problems. And I think an absence of that ceremonial royal figurehead, I don't think that's actually worked out particularly well in countries like France.
I agree. A couple of last questions, Rakib. The first one I've been asking a lot of guests today, and it kind of alludes to what you were just saying. I think that since the Queen died, we have unravelled as a nation. We seem to have stumbled from crisis to crisis to crisis. I don't mean to pay disrespect or undermine the great work of the King, who's done his level best stepping into extremely massive shoes, if you know what I mean. But she was the rock around which this nation revolved, and her passing has meant we've lost our symbol of stability, our symbol of permanence, and I think that we haven't got over it yet.
I think it's very difficult to get over. She was a symbol of unity, constancy, and stability, as you say. But I do think that King Charles III, I think that he's trying his level best to continue his mother's fantastic work in terms of helping to keep the country's diversity of peoples together. I think that his own coronation, actually, I think that was a demonstration of that modern day diversity. There was a variety of ethnicities and faiths represented when it was the allocation of prominent roles in the coronation. He's also done some fantastic work, Kevin, through the Prince's Trust Global, which does some very good work when it comes to education, promoting entrepreneurialism across the Commonwealth, helping young people realise their aspirations and to maximise their potential. So I do think that he is well positioned to continue her great work, not just in the UK, but also more widely in the Commonwealth.